Look, I'm a reporter, not a public relations person, but with all the muscle you guys throw around, you're starting to scare me.
I'll admit, we got a lot of power, but we only use it to help.
Like when you and Captain Marvel wrecked Lexor City on national television? Or maybe you mean when you fired that big space gun in the desert?
We come on a little strong sometimes, but it's for the people's own good.
That sounds like something Lex would say.
Don't even joke about that. I'm nothing like Lex Luthor.
Of course you're not. I'm just saying you can't serve the public without their confidence. It's a question of trust.
If the Justice League ever went rogue, what do you think would be the result?
That's moot.
Humor me. In every single scenario, you beat us. Badly. But that was before Cadmus. Now we have the technology to defend ourselves.
Whatever you think you're doing, if you present a threat to the world, the Justice League will take you down.
If we present a threat, you've got a spaceship floating over our heads with a laser weapon pointing down. In another dimension, 7 of you overthrew the government and assassinated the president. We're the good guys, protecting our country from a very real threat. You.
Alright children, before I talk about my favorite JLU episode, let's talk about themes. In Justice League Season 2, there was an alternate universe where the League became fascist rulers who conquered the world, and they tried taking ours, but Superman was able to get Lex's help to stop them, by explaining the predicament to the government and getting Lex a pardon. As a result, the news eventually spawned Cadmus, who were created to counter the potential threat of the League, especially now that they're an army. This whole Cadmus arc is f***ing awesome. It grows insanely naturally over the course of multiple seasons, it's got the mature tone of a conspiracy thriller, and it meditates on themes of power and fear as it deconstructs the utopian idea of superheroes with uncomfortable modern political questions about trust and abuse. As superheroes can give themselves for the service of our world, we're also at the mercy of their potential threat, and if they wish to act upon their hubris, as they grow more powerful and dissociate themselves from us, the consequences would be scary. To me, this entire arc is the best thing the entire DCAU has ever done, and one of the reasons why is because the answer is so darn cute. JLU says superheroes are just uncomplicated. Deal with it, bitches. The League disbands upon recognizing the fear, distrust, and potential growing disconnect they have with people, and that's it.
No one should ever be afraid of us. We're not going to be an army anymore. As of right now, we're disbanding the Justice League. This is the end.
No blackmail or cynical compromise. Just humble acceptance, before Green Arrow and the people themselves rebuke and cheer on Superman to restore the League. There's a fundamental gee-whiz sincerity to the nature of superheroes, and accepting their inherent straightforward aspirational qualities is to accept them in the most whole way possible.
This is where you live?
Isn't it great? Low maintenance fees, and there's a laundry room on the same floor.
The Justice League don't get paid, they don't get anything from this. They're just people who volunteer to help, because what triangulates between all of their different lives and stories and motivations is just a simple desire to do good.
But we're all equal in at least one way. Each of us is willing to make the sacrifices a hero needs to make, even the ultimate one.
My favorite episode, Patriot Act, is one that venerates this very simplicity by deliberately focusing and celebrating their service with completely f***ing obscure characters, and I love it. Patriot Act, just from the title alone, is immediately very politically charged. It's also in reference to the central skeptical question. What does heroics mean in relations to modern American patriotism? The story opens with a dude about to be injected by super soldier formula, but Spy Masher interferes. General Eiling reads the file, him being one of the super patriot dudes behind Cadmus. What this opening does is decouple the symbol and meaning of superheroes away from the present climate. They existed in simpler times, so their heroics come from simpler motivations. This is also then emphasized with Waller.
I'm not the League's greatest fan, but their intentions are good. I can work with them.
What if you're wrong, though? Turns out the metahumans aren't on the side of the angels.
Eiling refuses. Instead, he sees their battle entirely as one of symbols, comparing the League with the Soviets. As a result, there's two forces at work, simpler ideas from the past and modern Cold War-like suspicions. This is then anchored by Vigilante and Shining Knight, who have an equally important philosophical disagreement over Dirty Harry.
I still say this Clint Eastwood dishonored himself when he refused to, what was it? Play by the rules?
It's cute, but it also keeps the thematic debate of what defines honor and service in mind. Is it about respecting superiors or acting on your own? A bunch of B-listers and Green Arrow are then called in to fill in for Superman, which is to appear in the parade.
More heroes! Some of the brave policemen, firefighters, and emergency workers who serve Metropolis every day.
And it's here where Ollie basically just spells out the message of the episode, and kind of the philosophical base of JLU. It's not about powers, but just doing your part.
It's you the people come to honor.
Great. Now I'm petty.
See where it says heroes one and all? That's what it's all about. The crowd doesn't care who can bench press a mountain or shoot lasers out of their ears.
This perspective is fundamentally what Eiling just can't understand. Service and the desire to help is like a universal sense of humanity that transcends time, powers, and country. It's like getting suspicious over people who volunteer at charities just because they want to. Anyways, the audience thinks these obscure superheroes are completely lame, so Vigilante uses his showman skills. It works until superpowered Eiling destroys the poor Superman balloon, which I don't know why I found very, very distressing. Cops and the League members all fight together. Eiling wants to beat Superman publicly to prove no one can rival America's power in order to protect the American people, even though he's the one endangering everyone.
That there's someone who can stop you. I'm here to protect them from you.
In which during the action scene, acts of valor and heroism are then characterized by just simply helping, from the kids to a dude stuck in a car,
There was a blue car in front of me.
to Stargo trying to bring the fight elsewhere to avoid casualties. The whole sequence is very, very subtly designed to spotlight the unity of the superheroes and normal folks. Even when Stripe's chest is exposed, he still chooses to fight to save the kids. Green Arrow and Speedy run out of arrows and still choose to bravely charge with their bows. And then the best moment of the episode happens. And it's all with a super obscure character. Shining f***ing Knight. He's just one-on-one now. And just from the few short minutes from the earlier part of the episode, Shining Knight represents the opposite of Eiling's belief. He's not American, he's from Arthurian Britain. He's not a product of the modern political sensibilities, instead he struggles to grasp it.
I see why they call him dirty. He besmirches his order.
He's not even a sci-fi superhero, but a fantasy dude. And where Eiling preaches absolute loyalty to his country while referring to civilian casualties as smashing eggs.
Haven't you ever heard of innocent bystanders?
Ever hear of acceptable losses? You can't make an omelet without breaking a few eggs.
Shining Knight mentions the time he defied his order from his king because it required killing innocent people.
There it is. The creeping moral decay of the past 1,000 years.
Eiling then beats him and argues times has changed. Superheroes are a bygone thing, and now power is American might, and that's all that matters.
I'll waste you and a billion like you before I let any power rival America's. It's my duty.
You don't know what the word means.
With all of his heart, Knight refuses and is willing to die for the innocent. However, the innocent then step in to protect him, forming a shield, and they destroy Eiling's argument with the simple rebuttal.
You think killing Superman would make the world safe? Or killing this boy? Or us? Tell me, how many of us do you have to kill to keep us safe?
The stunned Eiling, confronted by his hypocrisy, leaves. As the League recovers, Shining Knight has a moment with the old lady, and the kids are in love with these obscure characters. Very subtly, 3 big stories happened within these 20 minutes. A story about the value and awesomeness of these obscure characters.
Fine, I don't care. I'm vigilante.
A story about time, where the symbol of American power and identity has changed, but superheroes hasn't. As a concept, regardless how much modern skepticism refuses to believe in them, it's in their ideological nature to continue to believe in uncomplicated human good.
In the great scheme of things, nothing you do has the least bit of significance.
And finally, it's a story about service, as valor shared by everyone.
I just want to thank you Justice League guys for turning out in force. It means a lot to us.
Hey, we can't thank you enough. You're the real heroes.
From these obscure characters, to the civilians, to the cops, to even Eiling, who can't kill the innocent people at the end because he still believes in his service to a greater good.
You'll see you need the likes of me to protect you from them.
Patriot Act is a celebration. In the same way it was centered on a parade celebrating firefighters and coppers, it uses less popular characters with no powers to celebrate the simple appeal of superheroes. It's not the super or the popular, but the idea of heroism. Having the balls to help people, you know? An idea that time can be skeptical of, politics can interpret differently, but even in times of cynicisms and demands for complications, just simply doing your part is timeless.
Our enemy is never as evil as we imagine. And maybe we're never quite as good.
Nuts.
So that was the Patriot Act video, which was something I've wanted to make for a very long time because as a child, this was like my favorite fucking JLU episode, and I rewatched it like 100 million times. I was working on a video called Super Douche, which is about the different evil versions of DCAU Superman that appears throughout the show, but I was like, I want to work on this. So here it is. Special thanks to everyone on Patreon, and by golly.
It's a different world, General. Learn to live in it.